Don't lie.
Hello.
How old are you today?
8.
8?
Yes.
8 going on 16, 17? You keep messing around with cars, you're going to add 10 years just like that pretty quick. What's up, everybody? I literally just got home. It's storming. I missed most of Pontiac Power Hour because it was storming so bad I couldn't listen. So I got through the door and I said, Zeppy, come on, get on, tell everybody, everybody will tell you happy birthday. Because we hit a milestone today, didn't we? What did we hit?
4,000 subscribers.
Tell them.
4,000 subscribers.
4,000 subscribers. And we're gaining. It's actually pretty damn cool. We realize that we're getting a little bit bigger quickly, probably a little quicker than we thought. And a few things that we've done. Of course, you've all seen Bonnie. Bonnie is out there uncovered, just continually getting wet right now. And we're going to work on her this weekend, I hope. But I also got to work on the javelins. So, but we got a few more things. This video I made is on the Angry Mick membership. If you haven't seen it, it'll be out tomorrow for everybody to watch. And that's our newest one. I got a couple more on the javelin I got to get out. But on the next video with her, we actually got new microphones. We got wireless mics. Lavalier, whatever. I'm a sound guy and I can't pronounce it right. But anyway, so I'll be toying with them. I already looked over some of the footage. It's weird because you can hear me breathe. I need to learn to breathe a little better because it's just, it's bad. It's pretty bad. I'll have to figure out something. Still learning my new editing software, stuff like that. And that's going to take me a little while, but we'll get there. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. What's everybody got going on? Look at that. They're all saying congrats to our 4,000 and happy birthday. Yay. What'd y'all get for your birthday? What was your favorite thing you got for your birthday?
El Cabon.
What'd you get? Tools? Yeah. He got tools and his very own El Cabon, or as Buff calls Tappy Tap. He got himself his own orange-handled, what is it? It's the mini Dead Blow. It's a little orange one. And his own toolkit. And what else? Oh, come on, man. Got remote control car. He got, what's his name? Dom's 4x4 Charger, RC car, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Happy birthday, Little Irish. Pontiac 400 for a friend. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I love the engines, but whew, my God. I got lucky with Artemis's that I didn't have to do too much. I just used everything that was in it except for the cam. Man, I had a set of heads, so I pity the fool. Got to buy some damn pistons for one of them things because holy cow! Rings and stuff, eBay, dude. Engine techs, right? That's what we're using in everything. Made in America, or made in the United States, and made in Israel, which is the same thing. They just, I hate to say it, but in Israel, they aren't as big a pansy asses as we are. Oh, not us, but out east, there's a whole lot of, Am I allowed to say that in front of him? We got a bunch of pansy asses running the country. I didn't say it out. Did I say? I said it out loud. My bad. My bad. What's when does a TIG welder show up? What's a TIG welder? That's what I want to know. Do you know what a TIG welder is?
No.
I don't even. I barely have a welder. I, you know. Where's it? Where we at? Where we got? 12 people. My kid does rule. Which kid? Did my oldest one end up gaming with yours? Because I got 3 kids and they're all gamers, but he's the only one that really helps me with the cars. Because one, he's literally a gamer, and yeah. Well, I get it. Who else we got in there? Well, there's Scarlett. Yeah, you said the TIG welder thing. I just, you're lucky to get me to use a stick welder. Although, hey Lars, what's happening? Remember Lars? Yep. What do we got here? 16. Yeah, old man in the shop, built not bought. What's going on, man? You know, I have a shirt, old man, that Amber had me made about my cutlass. That's that. It has the picture of, I need to wear it more, but I'm afraid to mess it up. It's got my cutlass on it in all of its multicolored glory. And then it just says built not bought on the front of it. It's, boy, is that car. I think out of all my cars, that one angers people the most for some reason, because they ask me, what color are you going to paint it? I just look at him and go, rust. It is painted. It's got paint on it. Yeah. You reading? Yeah. It's got a Pokemon. It's got Pikachu on his head. Oh, he did. Dan, he hears everything. That doesn't matter. That don't matter at all. What we got? Yeah, that's exactly right. Drive it and have fun. Yeah, well, I'm the same way, man. But I need to get my middle child. He's actually in welding in school and wants to be a welder. And I said, hey, I'll buy a nice welder if you want to practice on my cars. I mean, if you're just starting out, it would just look like it did coming off the assembly line in 1969. I mean, you had Drunk Bob on the left side and Stone Gary on the right, who just had his wife leave him, and he's on a bender. So I love that when you see a newly restored car by these shops. Oh, they spent $80,000. And you look at the weld, and it is a box with a frame. It is just beautiful, perfect. And I'm like, that's not stock. Next time we get to No Name Nationals, or if you guys see the cars before then, or at a show or Power Tour or something, you're looking at an old car that's a real old car. It's a survivor. Look at the welds. Look at the welds. You'll be like, oh, well, that's too good. Tore your abdomen. Well, how do you do that? How do you tear your abdomen? I mean, like, were you eviscerated or just, like, ouch? muscle tear. Muscle tear, maybe. I think I've had that before.
I've had it in my foot.
Huh?
I've had it in my foot
Yeah, he's messed up his foot before.
a bunch of times.
I seriously have no feeling left in my fingers from drumming all these years and working on cars and semis and stuff. I could probably lose a finger and wouldn't even know. I'd be like, oh, when did that go away? Broke your foot. You're all falling apart, man. You got to be careful. Probably didn't have his safety glasses on. That's how he broke his foot.
How would he? If he had safety glasses on, how would he break his foot if the safety glasses go on his head?
Yeah. Well, it looks like Brent. Apparently, he tore the Franks and beans too. That looks like he hurt the Frank and beans. Went a little lower. Now that would suck. Should have been wearing your safety gear. You wouldn't have hurt it. That's what I'm saying, 38. I mean, let's see, look at it. You guys, no. You're bad luck. Knock on wood. This crap don't happen to us. Stepped in a hole. Oh, yeah. That's a good excuse. You probably fell walking out of the house and blamed it on work. That's what I would have done. I would be like, oh, crap. Let me go to work and do this. That's expensive.
Yeah, just like how I sprained my ankle jumping at school. And I had to drag my foot all the way.
Well, we got things falling down around here.
We might be from the wind.
Messing with my pretty light. Exactly. You know, Buff, that's the same exact thing. If you got to poop, wait till you get to work, because then you get paid to do it. Right? I mean, wouldn't you get out of class? I'm going to go poop, then I don't have to go to this class for 15 minutes.
Yeah, except when the last time, so when we were going trucking, when we were about to go trucking, I literally put that thing, and I literally walked on like nothing happened.
I don't know any paramedics. I'm just scared. I got to start working on Artemis. That car's been trying to kill me for 2 years. Then Bonnie's trying to, sounds like there's goddamn World War III going on out here. Whenever you try to start her, boom! I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you ain't seen it and you're not a member of the membership, you need, oh man. Yeah, wait till you see this video. The Javelin runs great, but rear end. I need to get a rear end for it or build the one I have, which I don't know. We're trying to decide what to do there, because I can get a couple from a guy and just put all my, my Positrack stuff in it. because I have a feeling that this rear end is going to need it's going to need stretched and all kinds of stuff to get it right. But it needs that, and it needs springs. The leaf springs on the Javelin, if you pull the car backwards and forwards and park, the leaf springs go like this. It's they are wore out. And we only got, what is it, March 23rd? So, oh my God, April, May,
3 months?
2 3/4 months, and our butt's headed for Atlanta in that car. I don't know, maybe we just won't tell Mom we'll just take Bonnie. No windshield. Everybody get their ATV glasses on. We're taking the friggin' Buick.
Yeah, but what about the brakes?
No, actually, old man, they're not. They are all over the internet. The problem is there's only a few that are free shipping because they are freight item because they're heavy as hell. They're 5-leaf, and I've already got the bushings. I don't need bushings. I got good bushings. But no, the leaf springs for that Javelin, they're everywhere on the internet. You can buy them from just about every spring company. It is bedtime for him, Tony, but I told him that he could stay up with me and do this live for a while because it's his birthday. But he will need to get to bed here pretty soon. Right? Yep. Tomorrow's Friday. We have the whole weekend. He's still got school tomorrow. Yeah. See, that's how you say it. I was on my way to karate when a vicious bull attacked out of nowhere. He gored me good, but I got him in the end. I didn't take it. I didn't do it at karate. Yeah, so the Buick, because it has inch and, well, I don't know. I think maybe it does have 2-inch exhaust or 2 1/4. I have to look at it again. But I tried to start it a couple different times in 2 different towns. And it sounded like a 10-gauge double barrel going off. It is freaking loud. And I can't believe cops didn't get called because there was a shooting or something like that. It was bad. It's really bad. But I did get it running. So get these awesome cookies that somebody made for Zeppy today. If I can get one out. If you haven't noticed by everything he wears, he is a huge 80s music fan. The guitar pick, I get it right on the camera. Motley Crue guitar pick cookies. You're going to be there this year, though, right? Clean? Or will, I guess. Both of you, for God's sakes. All of you. We should all get there. I don't know how many cars we're going to bring. We're going to figure that out. I'd like to drive them all. When does Zeppy get a Trans Am? As soon as you give him yours. We had a Trans Am. That's where the motor came out of for the Cutlass. We'll all be at Power Tour. We'll be in the Javelin more than likely, just like we were last year. Except this year we didn't do the Platinum Club, did we? This year we're just going to wing it. Platinum Club's nice, but and it really is, man. If it's your, I'm telling you, when it comes to Power Tour, if you've never done it, the very first one, I am so glad I took advice from a local friend of mine. He said, if your first one, just get the platinum package. It's going to cost you maybe a couple $100 more than what normally would do, like if you were just go out and get your own hotel rooms. But it gets you right in it, because a lot of problems they had, like last year in Nashville, it took hours. We were late to Nashville and we went right in, but some friends of mine, you know, like Austin and those guys, Austin from Lucor and all them, they sat outside the raceway for what, 4 or 5 hours in the smoldering heat. And you don't want that to like ruin the experience for you. So, I mean, that was kind of a rare thing, but that first one, I highly suggest just spend the jack, get the platinum package. That way you get the whole idea of it all. And then the next year, go back and do it like we are. I mean, of course, we're doing it with Amber and Zeppy, and Aiden ain't going this year, but yeah, we're going this year. It's a long drive for us too. By the time we get done, it'll be another 2,000-mile trip in that Javelin with a brand new engine, right? Brand new motor. Runs good too. Still working on the carb situation. Not sure what to do. If Holly's watching, I'd sure love to try out a sniper on there. I would get away from my carburetor because that's a daily driver. I know. What are you doing? Well, I won't try anything. If it'll make that engine run a little smoother, I'll try it. Be my only fuel injected one out there. Yeah. I don't even need a sponsorship. Just give me a little freaking nudge off. I don't give a damn about sponsorships. I mean, obviously I do, but I'm not going to go begging for it. That's for damn sure. I got to get enough sponsorships in my local O'Reilly's. Yeah. Now, Brent, is that the actual whole setup on top of the engine, or did you get an intake and everything? Because they don't make an AMC intake, so I'm gonna have to just use the old. So I thought about doing the Sniper or the Phytech, either way, but I'm not gonna drop the tank and put all that extra crap in there. I just because I guarantee you, if we take off for Power Tour with a FI system on that thing, I'll have a carburetor in the trunk just in case, because no. You got Christmas balls? Colleen, that's where I'll be. I've already got all that set up. Where are we at? Yeah, well, we started Atlanta. I think then it goes up there towards you guys there, Columbia. And then there's 2 stops in North Carolina and then Bristol. And I really, really tried hard to get track tickets to run that Javelin around the track. I might have an in on that with a guy that works with Hot Rod. And he may let me buy one at the track quietly and take it up on there. Because last year we couldn't do it because Javi blew on her way there. She lost wheel bearings. So
hopefully that doesn't happen this year.
Yeah, that sucked, didn't it? Changed the wheel bearings in a gas station parking lot. But I did it in like 15 minutes, didn't I? I did. I changed the wheel bearings on the driver's side front of Javi in 15 minutes. I mean, I busted my ass and I got him out because that's not a good side of town. So we're like, just get it done. I'm banging on shit. I didn't even use torque wrench or nothing, did I? I did the old spin, and because AMCs, these actually have a torque spec for those front, and I didn't even have time to do that. I just did it old school, and got it snug and put everything back together, and we got the hell out of there. There's Shop Cat.
Yeah, not like there's like 5 fire trucks that went by us.
Yeah. We did make it through Atlanta at night, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Everybody, the damn Javelin looks fast. So everybody and their brother with their oversized weed eaters were wrapping them off to us, wanting to race. And I'm like, dude, it's floored. And we're doing 40. And you're passing us in second gear. So, God, that reminds me, I'm going to have to go all the way through the front end of that car yet again. I have to double check all that because I know one of them bearing races had some pitting in it. It was brand new bearings too. That really pissed me off. Those were brand new bearings and races. Brand new rotors, everything. We got good brakes now though, don't we? It stops good. Oh, no, but I got pictures of it, Matt. I've got one picture of me washing it in my parents' yard. That's the car I actually brought my oldest son, Skylar. I brought him home from the hospital in that car. I don't know, I might have a picture of it here. It wasn't real, old school. I mean, it was, but I don't know if I got one here or not. Well, there's that picture. I was looking for that. Screenshots, downloads, camera. You're blocking the camera, buddy. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll show you guys. Well, where's it at, Zeppelin? You should know this.
How am I supposed to know?
Huh?
How am I supposed to know?
I don't know. You're supposed to know. Oh, what happened? I don't know where it's at. Anyway, yeah, I had a 79 black Trans Am with red interior. That was my second one. The first one I had was black and gold with tan interior. And then I had that one. And then I got rid of that a long time ago. And then I had one out here until about, 2-3 years ago. And it's actually across town. And a gentleman on the other end of town bought it from me after I pulled the motor and trans out of it. And it is LS swapped. It has the frame and floor completely redone in it. And he's just going to call it the Rusty Rooster, and he's going to drive it the way it looks. But, of course, he LS swapped it, which is, not something I would have done, but he didn't have a Pontiac engine to put back in it. That car originally had the 403 olds in it. And it was a black and gold. And, but it was pretty bad. It was worse than what I wanted to do. So I decided to sell it. And he, it's been sitting over at his house. You can see it. It's just sitting outside. This T-top car. But yeah, my old one that I had back when I was like 20, 19 or 20, it was red interior, 400, 4-speed. It was an original 4-speed car. Of course, I blew that thing out. Now, my old one, the one that I had back then, Matt, it was a 400. Yeah, I know, Brent. 403, but Still a good motor if you take care of them. No powerhouse, that's for damn sure. There wasn't a fast Trans Am since 73, 72. They look bad as hell. They're just badass looking car, but they were slow. The black and gold one was. All honesty, my favorite, besides the Super Duty, would be the 76 anniversary edition. Even with that front end, I don't know, something about it with the old school honeycombs. Not the snowflakes. There's a difference, everybody. Everybody wants to call the Bandit Trans Am's wheels snowflake or honeycombs. No, they are snowflakes. And if you watch, when they're just getting into Texarkana and he's sitting on the side of the road and he's telling him to honk his horn, and one when he's going across the bridge, it's the actual 76 that they didn't deliver the 77s yet. A lot of people don't catch that. Who, me? Oh, yeah, you did find it. How did you get that? My God. Well, now this thing's just gonna. Why is that doing that? Oh, I know. Here we go. Save. Gallery. Where you at? Come on. She went away. That worked. No. Well, are you serious? How many pictures do I need? There it is. There's me in my total 90s sweater and my black Trans Am with real Indy. Oh, how do we get it right? Real Indy aluminum slots, new exhaust, 4-speed T-tops, 4-wheel disc brake. Thanks for that, Buff. I kind of lost it. Well, buddy, you about ready to head to bed? Yeah, he does need to go to bed. So here, let me hold on a minute. Correct, Brent. They were, because they had not produced any off the line yet. But I think a couple of them, the one that comes out of the truck, that one is a 77. There's Matt. He said happy birthday. That's our, you remember Matt, don't you? Lives up over here. Yep. We tell everybody good night and say thanks for watching.
Oh, God.
Thanks for happy birthdays.
Good night.
Good night. You need to speak louder. I'm going to have to get one of them wireless mics out on you. Hold on here. Let's get Buff on here. Hey, buddy.
Happy birthday, Zeppy.
There's Brent, too.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Tell him thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys give me a second, I'm going to get him inside and get to bed, and I'll be right back out.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Buff and I can chat till you get back.
You guys hold the fort for a second. Hold on, Zeppelin. Hold on. How does this work? What did I do?
You muted yourself.
Apparently, he got it figured out.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Stop cam. There we go.
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sounds good. How's it going, Buff?
I'm struggling with this weather.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
it's been consistently cold here, so I haven't even got. I'm kind of itching to get out, but I hurt myself, so I can't even work anyway. So
Yeah, that sucks.
it does
So
suck.
far, I have not injured myself.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you don't want to do what I did. That I've had kidney stones, and I'm kind of on the fence which one is worse right now.
That's pretty bad.
With enough painkillers, I can keep this numb down a fair bit, but
because kidney stone, there's not much you can do for it.
No, there's nothing you can do.
If you're not knocking yourself out completely, there's nothing.
Well, and I'm allergic to morphine, so when I went into the hospital for that, they gave me a hot water bottle. It really sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's helpful to understand the chemistry side of it and the medicine side, because having had a kidney stone, I know exactly what I need to take. But whatever happened to you sounds horrible, and I know.
If I turn the wrong way, it feels like someone kicked me right between the legs and punched me in the stomach at the same time. It's unpleasant.
And see, that happens just when I sleep on the pillow wrong. But it sounds like you did a little more than that.
Yeah.
So is this like the grandma's hot water bottle they gave you, or like a real hot water bottle?
It's grandma's hot water bottle, pretty much.
Nice.
No,
it's been multitasking.
No, it was the real. It was just the rubber bottle with the stopper in it with hot water. That's all it was, man.
And yes, that was quick, Matt. I remembered Jay sending me that photo last year, and I went, and nothing against those that don't have an iPhone, but I knew exactly where it was.
Yeah.
If you've
that car,
that's the thing with me is be cautious what you send me, because I keep everything, and I know how to find it quick.
Interesting story on how I do not own that car anymore. I blew the engine up. Imagine that.
Nah.
You can't blow up Pontiac.
We're talking blew it up. Like rods through the freaking block of this 400.
I've never done that with Pontiac.
I had first ripped out the transmission, and I had an automatic, BOP style 350 turbo that I had built, put it in there. I thought, oh yeah, I can get all kinds of life out of this. Now I got the automatic in it. I had to change everything up, and now about 2 weeks after I did that, I blew it up.
Yep.
So it was dumb. I was, still wild at heart, even with a 1-year-old. And I put it at my parents' house, because I lived actually not too far from where I live now with Skylar's mom and him. And I had it sit in my dad's garage, and he got sick of seeing it. And I come over one day, and I was like, where the hell's my TA? And he goes, I sold it. What? He goes, I sold it. Because he had my title and everything. And he says, you don't need that. And the way he was, and I don't blame him for doing this, it's just the way he was. That car sitting there is costing you money, and I'm tired of looking at the goddamn thing. You're never going to get to it. You're a dad now, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to get to it, blah, blah, blah.
Man, that sounds familiar.
But I was so mad I did not talk to him for almost a year.
Yeah, wow.
I know exactly that feeling.
He sold it for $250.
Hey, ouch.
I paid $3,000.
Oh, the wheels alone.
Those wheels were worth $250.
I know.
Yeah.
That hurts.
The freaking seats were worth $250. Yep. They were in immaculate shape. They were like brand new right off the freaking. All the interior was perfect. T-tops didn't leak. Nothing.
No.
Had the right hood. The freaking. The shaker was all there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, probably about 6-7 years ago, me and my dad were talking, and he got to watching, these rich people tax write-off shows, the auctions. And he goes, God damn. He said, one of them TAs like you had sold for $90-some thousand. And I just looked at him. And my mom looked at me, and she goes, didn't you have one of them? And I just looked at my dad, and my dad goes, it was a different time, God damn it. I was tired of looking at it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were tired of looking at it. I'd still have that car today because it was pristine. It just needed it. There wasn't rust. There was nothing. Yeah. That thing was perfect. And
my,
he
my first
freaking
car
told
that
me
I bought for
was so
$600.
mad.
Same thing. $600 car. I still have the VIN number, and I looked it up, and it sold at Barrett Jackson a few years ago for like $30-some thousand, and I bought it for $600.
Yeah.
And my dad sold it out from under me when I was not looking. Basically, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna get yourself hurt in that car." Like, damn it, Dad.
Well, see, I had already had, oh God, before that car, that Trans Am was the pooch of my arsenal. I had a Mustang.
I remember the Mustang story.
The Mustang was wicked. I had a couple of them that way. So I just, I don't know.
Well,
it wasn't a power thing. It was the fact that I just had Skylar, and he said, you need to get rid of that. What's funny was, as I was driving, he said one of his arguments was gas mileage. Well, guess what I was driving when he sold this thing? A 77 full-size Bronco with a 400 in it.
well, that's better than gas,
better mileage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better mileage.
Well, I have a bit of an opposite story to the two of you. I had wrecked my car, which was that Ford. I have told that story about the Ford, the 71 Custom went flying. So I was looking for a replacement, and we're driving by an area, and my mom seen the Trans Am. She said, "Well, what about that? That's an okay looking car." And I'm like, I don't really like those because at that point, every time I had seen one, they were either really rusted out or wrapped around a telephone pole, right? That they just didn't have the great reputation. So anyways, I went and talked to the guy, and I think I bought the car for about $2,500. I didn't have quite enough to pay for all of it, so he kept the back seat until I finished paying for the car, but I got to take the rest of the car.
There you go.
I've had that car ever since I was like 16 now, and that blue Trans Am of mine. And so it was actually my mom that found the car and encouraged me to buy it. And I'm going to dispute you a little bit on Trans Am's not being fast. In that, like, you're right, they didn't have 300-400 horsepower, but that car I had still had 220 horse with 345 foot-pounds of torque. It would rip the tires off. And the guy had put an Edelbrock intake and a Holley carb on it and some upgraded suspension. That car would outrun 5.0 Mustangs all day.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it was pretty quick still. It was enough to get me in trouble.
Yeah, Trans Am got me in a lot of trouble, actually. Almost got arrested over that car. I was going home, and I was coming through town, and the cops around here, they had it out for me in my cars. They just always did. And it was almost like a game. They had a board in the office that had basically it was a pool on who could impound my car. And they pulled me over. And this one old boy, Rocky, he'd been trying to get me for years. We're talking years. I'm way out of high school now. I got 3 jobs and kid and everything else. He finally pulls me over out here on 40, not far from where I'm at right now. Calls the dog out. They sniff through the freaking car. And first of all, I'm scared to death because this car I bought knowing that it belonged to a marijuana runner. So I'm already like, oh, shit. He's got me. I'm guaranteeing there's something in this car that's just going to get me in trouble. Because I wasn't a pothead or anything. I didn't do any drugs. Drank beer, So I'm sitting there, and they ripped the freaking interior out of that car trying to find something. No. And then said, well, looks like it's clean, Jay. I said, okay, well, we help it. Oh, nope, that's your responsibility. They fucking drove off. They ripped the seats out, the rear seat, the whole trunk floor. They took everything out of that car. Stereo, everything.
Yeah.
And left me on the side of the road at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was coming home from work.
Just being asses at that point.
They're just being assholes about it.
And it's unfortunate because it's that type of reputation that really starts souring people towards law enforcement, right? I know back, like I hear some of the stories my dad used to tell me, and they were really cool for a lot of stuff as long as you weren't doing anything overly stupid, right? Like he used to tell me when they would go out drag racing, they'd shut down the country road for run a couple races. The cops would come out and watch them run a couple races, and then eventually say, "Okay, time to shut down. That's enough for now." And they would all shut down, and no problems, right? Next weekend they'd be out there, same thing, and everyone was respectful to each other. But they don't do that anymore, unfortunately.
Well, where I grew up, and my friend Matt here can attest for this. Where I grew up, it is a drinking town. Yeah. High schoolers, they raise it. I mean, everybody hangs out at the bars, kids, the whole 9 yards. We had this thing where I went to school at called Ring Day, Catholic town. So they would have Ring Day where it used to be where everybody would get their class rings. They'd go to church that Saturday at 5:30 mass, and everybody would get their rings blessed by the priest or whatever. And then they'd have a big party. Somebody would have a huge ass party somewhere around the middle. So I'm at this party after Ring Day. I think I was junior or something like that, or sophomore or junior. I had my gray 5.0 that I had built and was racing. I street raced it and all that stuff. Well, anyway, I go to this party. And I had just bought a case of Budweiser. And I went out to this party. Somebody freaking called the cops. It's out in this little town north of me, out in the middle of friggin' nowhere. So all the cops, county cops show up and all that stuff. They're, all right, break it up. They didn't arrest nobody. Everybody had beer. Everybody's underage, so it wasn't like that. They weren't coming out and they just arrest everybody. They didn't arrest nobody. They picked me out. And they say, Jay, how much beer you got? I said, I was honest. Well, I got about a case. That's before now they hold that shit against you. They're like, so you have a case of beer. So click, Yeah.
Right.
Well, they didn't do that. So they're letting everybody leave. And we had already preemptively said, if we get busted, this is where we're going. Everybody just split up, go a bunch of different ways. We'll meet back here. We're talking 300-400 people.
Yeah.
So right in front of everybody, they're blocking the road, and they say, "Oh yeah, open up the hatch." And I had the hatch back,
Yeah.
So I pick it up, and I got an old St. Louis Cardinals baseball bat, little ones, and I stick it underneath the door because my, the hydraulic thing, gone.
Right.
And he goes, "All right, let's get the beer." I was like, "You're taking my beer?" No. Start pouring them out.
Bump it out, yeah.
They made me open them one by one and pour them out in front of everybody.
I would say, hold on. Let me just pour it this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll come out. Trust me, it'll come out.
I did it. They said, "Well, now what you going to do? The party's over." I said, "Yep, you know what? You're exactly right. The party's over. I guess I'll just go home." So I headed back to my hometown over here. Went straight to Kenner's Tavern through the drive-thru. Friend of mine worked the drive-thru. I said, "I need 2 cases of Budweiser." I'm 16, 17 years old. She goes, "What happened to the one you just bought?" And I said, "You don't want to know." I said, "I don't know where it came from." So I got 2 more. We went to this other place way the hell. The first party was out over here, north of town, and we ended up way southeast of town at the next one. Didn't get bothered. We was all there passed out at 6 o'clock in the morning, But I mean, it was just, it was like that. And it wasn't until I was 18 where that's when they started cracking down. I actually got a legal consumption by a minor at a party. And the way this worked, they bust ass in there right through the gate, private property. Okay. Because we all know each other. The cops know everybody. And so private property, they bust ass up into this thing. I got a buddy of mine who I play in a band with right now. He's like 8 foot tall, 280, 300 pounds at that time, and he's with me. And they come up, "All right, everybody, give me your IDs." It's this new county sheriff, and he's a real douchebag, gets everybody's IDs. As soon as he gets their IDs, these people walk to their spots, and then when he ain't looking, they take off running. You gave him your ID, and now you're going to run. So I'm standing there. I'm like, I'm not running. I'm 18, about to graduate high school, all this kind of crap. My buddy, he's 21. He's the only one that was 21 at the party. But I played in a band with him. So I'm like sitting there, and they go, well, how you getting home, Jay? And I looked at Jeff, and Jeff's like, I'm driving. But he never drove a stick in his life. So I'm like, yeah, you know, not to mention a 400 horse stick, you know, 373 gears, the whole 9 yards. So we got in the car like we was going to leave. We just sat there, and the cop walks up. He knows Jeff. Jeff's brother was a cop. And he's like, why haven't you left? We told you. And Jeff just, you know, mind you, Jeff's huge. So he's got the seat all the way back. Steering wheel's like this, and the stick shift looks like, you know, huge. So he's like sitting there. He goes, I don't know how to drive a damn stick. The cop goes, Jay, just switch places. Get the fuck home. He just looked at me. Maybe switch places so I could drive home so we wouldn't sit out there.
Oh.
And my court date for that was in, God, what was it? I was getting ready to turn 19. And my court date was for like 5 months because they were so backed up. And then I had to go back in. I got 12 months court supervision. Didn't even get probation, nothing on your record, no nothing, you know. And I go back to court, and I was 21, you know, for my last thing. Okay, looks like you passed everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, what are you going to do now? And there's this little bar right next to the old courthouse. I said, I'm going to go down there and have a beer. And they're like, what? It's like, well, 21, dude. I'm going to go down there and have a beer. I'm already off work. They sat outside that freaking place and waited for me to drive off. I called my mom. She came. Or no, at that time, what was I? No, I called my ex-wife, and she came and got me.
Yeah.
Because we were married by that time.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I used to have that old boy Rocky. Me and his son are actually pretty good friends, but Rocky, he tried everything to catch me. He did anything and everything he could to get my car impounded. That was the thing. In my hometown, I was the terror of T-Town because I had this little Fox body when everybody else had these great big heavy ass Dodges.
Yep.
You know, like I said, I come from a Dodge community, and I'd go run circles around them. Just, you know, a lot of people, like the younger crowd right now, they see all this crap coming out now. Back when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, if you had 250 horse,
yeah, you had some power.
You were the shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you could run a 13, 14 second quarter mile, you were flying. You were the king of the, you know, without it being like a top fuel dragster.
Yeah. And that's what my 78 Trans Am was. That's what I drove in the 80s, right? 80s and 90s, as I had that 78 Trans Am. And like I said, it would smoke the 5.0 Mustangs, the stock ones anyways. So it was a fast car at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony and Wolfpack kind of nailed it here. Is like Tony was saying kind of circa 1986, the police were actually part of the community more so than tax collectors. And
my neighbor was a cop growing up.
Yeah, and then Wolfpack kind of he touched on that, where it's like at about that point they went from being an integral part of the community and serving and protecting to being tax collectors and revenue generators. And it's really sad because I remember like another time we had some pretty awful neighbors, and they used to call the cops on my dad all the time because he'd be out in the garage working, he'd have his music going, and they'd be making noise complaints and stuff. And you know, the cop comes over, hey, how's it going? Talk to my dad, and dad's, oh, it's fine. Oh, we got a noise complaint. So, but I'll tell you what, here's the actual law. From this time to this time, you can be as loud as you want. But I didn't tell you that.
Right.
So he says, feel free to crank that up.
And see, growing up, I had I remember we went through these different iterations of our town cop, and I mean, even our highway patrolman was part of the community, and everyone knew who he was. Same with the town cop, and you know what? I was the kid that if I saw the cop, I'm gonna, be on my best behavior,
Right.
Yep.
Because it wasn't that I didn't want to get caught; it's that I respected that person.
Absolutely. It was a matter of mutual respect when I was a kid.
Yes, and then
Not much
as
anymore.
I got a little older, that particular officer was no longer there, and we had this new guy who I'm not saying I'm not going to say anything super negative, but he didn't have the right mentality. He didn't have any education. They just gave him a badge and a gun and off he went. And man, he basically lived right across the street from my house. So the minute I left my house, my driveway was about 50 feet from the stop sign. So if I backed my vehicle out of the parking or out of the driveway, at that point, I'm within a few feet of the stop sign. So I'm backed up, I stop, I look both ways, and then I go. He pulled me over probably half a dozen times, every time saying, you didn't stop at that stop sign. I'm like, dude, I back out of my driveway and I'm at the stop sign. Yeah, but you should stop again. And it was just this continual thing where he was following me to pull me over because today's that day he was going to get me. I'm like, dude, and then and when he wasn't there, I would intentionally just run the damn thing because he's not there. And that's where that breakdown occurred from that mutual respect. We live in America where we have freedom and you can't go around treating people like they have no right.
Yeah.
Then I got a badge and a gun, so I'm going to, do whatever I want. And that's the part where it only takes a few to ruin it for everybody.
Well, and you're right, because there are a lot of good officers.
Oh, absolutely. I worked in first responder world where, these guys got my back, I got their back, but I won't ever have their back when I see some shady shit going on. It's like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that same, like the cop that I was talking about, Rocky, the one that was trying so hard. But if I seen him at, say, the local IGA or something, we'd say hi.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was like as soon as we got out and he's in his squad car and I was in my Stang, it became, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, it was trying like hell to catch me. And he never did.
That's exactly right. It became Dukes of Hazzard where y'all are hanging out at the county fair together, but then go get the Duke boys. You're chasing.
Yep.
If nothing else, then it's just you got to chase.
It was like Enos from Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I love y'all, but I gotta do my job.
That was the actual my hometown. That was the cop there. He was Enos.
Yeah.
He would
I'd
be running around that Mustang in my hometown over here, and we had a KC Hall, Knights of Columbus Hall, and you went past these tracks, and it's still there. You go over these tracks and you hang a left into the parking lot. Well, I would ramp the tracks and land sideways. Now they call it drifting.
Right.
But I would land it and slide through that drive-in, and I'd go in there and do donuts because we all hung out at the KC Hall and this other Society Hall parking lot in front of the church, and it was just a big cruise route, Well, he would be chasing me all over. He'd get out of town, and, of course, he was the town cop, so he could only go so far. I'd go out past his jurisdiction thing, and I'd come back through town, and I'd go home. I lived in town. And I'd get back there at the garage. I'd shut the car off because there was a back road into my house. And I'd fly in the house, and he'd sure as shit, he'd show up at the house. My mom had done hit me with a yardstick because it's 1:00 in the morning, And I'd get in there, And he'd come to the door, knock on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning. My mom would be waiting in her freaking nightgown, curlers, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And the way he talked, he'd be like, now, Lucille, I caught Jay out running that damn Mustang around like a madman. He needs to be taken down. And my mom be sitting there looking at him. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You're coming to give me and my son shit. Blah, blah, blah. It starts going off on him. And he's just like, he's Barney Fife all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know how to takes the bullets out of his gun because it's too heavy. That kind of shit. And I'm like, then I'm sitting inside going, yeah, Mom, not thinking about the ass kicking I'm going to get whenever she gets in here. And she was just outside yelling at a cop. But, I mean, that was the same way, too. And it ended up that his son and my oldest, his youngest and my oldest were really good friends in high school. And I would go drop Skylar off at their house. His name was Jerry. He's a really nice guy. He's not a bad guy at all. But I'd go drop him off, and I'd be in that, whatever I had at that time, Trans Am. I ended up having that Mustang back. I sold it and got it back. And I'd pull up in there, and he would say things like, how's that car running? I said, it's running great now. Is it faster than it was when I was chasing you around? That kind of stuff. I said, oh, yeah, it's a lot faster than then. And he wasn't a cop anymore at that time. He'd quit being a cop. But, it never was a bad one. I only had one bad cop, and he was an out-of-towner that really, really tried to stick it to me. And it didn't work. So, yeah, I've had those. But really, the cops here are actually pretty cool anymore because I'll get calls like people don't even live here. They'll be driving down the highway and they'll see all my cars and go, oh, my God, look at all those cars. And they'll call, cops have to show up. They get a thing. None of my neighbors call the cops. None of them do. Matter of fact, they come and look at the cars when I'm working on them. And the cops will show up and go, all right, Jay, got another report. We got to go through the license, insured license. They'll go down the whole line. And then they'll start talking cars with me. We'll lean up against cars and I'll start showing them. Hell, one of them bought one of my cars. So, I mean, they're going to give me too much crap.
That's good. I'm glad that, like, up here we have a sheriff, but they're different than your sheriffs. They're kind of like our highway patrol almost. And those guys are probably the worst because they will give other cops tickets.
Yep.
Like, those guys are just.
Oh.
So what was funny about living in Alaska, there's no counties, which means there's also no sheriff.
Yeah.
And so you have some local, municipalities would have their own, but most didn't. So all you got's the troopers.
Yep.
And most of them are pretty awesome. But every once in a while you'd get young kid up there in Alaska trying to prove himself, and he's going to pull everybody over, and that lasts about a few days. And then somebody at the top of the cop shop calls and says, all right, buddy, you're in Alaska now. They self-govern, so you need to chill out a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I lived there 10 years, never got pulled over. Not for anything, ever.
Yeah.
I always get pulled over in my semi. They say, you weren't wearing your seatbelt. How'd you see that? I'm wearing a black shirt and the inside of the truck is black. Seatbelts are black. How'd you see that? I was wearing my seatbelt. No, you weren't. Yeah, I was. Always wear my seatbelt. And then I got to go to court and they'll say I was wearing my seatbelt. Do you have any pictures or anything? No. Well, it's illegal for me to take pictures while I'm going down the road. How the hell would I have any pictures?
Well, you just have to start mounting your iPhone looking back at you, I guess.
Will, I think that car back when I was in high school, probably $275 maybe. It wasn't nothing like you can put out today. The second time I owned it, though, it was getting up there to 300. It was a 351, 30 over. Had a fireball cam in it.
270 in a Fox body is a lot, though.
Yeah, that's a lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep rear ends in the sumbitch, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Blow
So
out the little,
anybody
back then
else-
we had 7.5s. We didn't have the 8.8.
Did anybody else watch that Dodge unveiling thing where they brought the car in with the helicopter?
Oh, you mean that $150,000 Dodge?
Yeah, the last call.
Yeah, that's it. They
I,
brought
I,
that
I seen them bring it in with the helicopter and all
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But
1,000 horsepower.
I mean, it's at this point, it's a symbolic gesture at best because
Right.
you sold out to the EV market, which, I mean, you got Ford even going on like, yeah, we might.
Oh, but it comes with a parachute from the
Me-
factory.
we might have messed up by putting all our ducks in the EV pond because we've lost like billions now.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It did wheel stand a little bit though.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a cool car. Don't get me wrong.
So that's what I was gonna say is, when you got to ask for forgiveness, you dump every dollar into that because that car, there's no doubt. I mean, granted, anybody could have that car, but it's impressive for what they built.
But my understanding
but
is,
again, that's their apology. Like, hey, we screwed up, and yeah, EVs are the thing, but look at what we did.
My understanding, though, is that the original Hellcat owners get first dibs at those cars.
Oh,
first right of refusals.
Nice.
They're going to turn into the new Mustang. You're going to get people that can't handle that much power, and they're going to end up putting them in the damn.
I mean, we already. Hell, my 99 Trans Am had 320 horsepower from the fact. Actually, it probably had about 350 when I dynoed it. They were fudging the numbers as usual. Right. And that was too much for me. I know it is. Like at the time, and I was 24 years old. It's probably too much for me now. I mean, when
400 is
when you start looking at
a lot.
Well, yeah, 350 horsepower in the LS1, plus the 6-speed, plus the gearing, plus the handling the car is capable of. But when you had the old cars, you had the like 15-inch wheels and stuff, and the rubber would roll over and start howling before the car would actually let go and stuff like that.
Right.
Not in the newer cars. When you got those 17-inch low-profile tires, when those things let go, they're gone. There's no warning. You just lose the back end or lose grip on the front end, and you're spinning. That's what the new cars are. And so now they got to put all the stability control and everything else in them to try to, because you as a person cannot really react fast enough.
Right.
So I drive slow anymore. I know I can't react like I used to.
Well, I'm one of those that you have for me, because I work long shifts, and it's one of those where there are days that I'm driving home and I look down and I'm doing 45, no radio, nothing, just, yep, that's what we're doing. People come flying by and I'm going, what was that? Was that the other cars?
Oh, I get crap from Amber all the time. Why are you driving so slow? Why are you in such a goddamn hurry?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. I drive 70 mile an hour and 80,000 pounds. I don't need to rush anywhere.
Right.
Well, I still got a bit of a lead foot, but I've also been called Old Man McIsaac by my friends too, because when I'm driving on a long road trip or something, I'm not in a big hurry, man.
It's the journey, I'm all about, I like speed, don't get me wrong. It's just, when I'm on a trip, man, I like to set the cruise, just watch and
pull over and fix your tires and By the way, I like your shirt. Your shirt.
My shirt?
Yeah.
Night Industries. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a hold of them?
Anybody would catch that.
Did you get a hold of them?
What's that?
Are they going to do it for you?
Do what?
The show.
Oh, not these guys.
Well, you know what I mean.
The other guys?
Yeah.
I haven't hit them up this week. I was working on the, he's in your chat. I was working on somebody else's revivals. And then, of course, trying to secure my guest this week. But I'm going to go back to hitting them up, because now with the Camaro being end of production, it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say about their Trans Am Chevelle projects.
Oh, yeah. I do know. I saw some. But I don't know if you watched that.
This is.
Right. I don't know if you watched that O'Reilly's thing with Derek
Oh, the turbo
That
top,
girl that he had
or
on.
the chop, oh,
Canada.
between the lanes or something like
Yeah.
that, isn't it?
In the aisle.
In the aisles.
In
That's
the
what it
aisle,
is.
that's what it is.
That's
I
what
can't
it is.
remember her
I
name.
watched the Tony Angelo one.
Was it Liv that you're talking? The
Did
one
he have
with
Liv Scabaldi?
Which one is it?
Is it Liv?
I don't know. She's from Canada.
Oh,
She's down in.
I don't think that's Liv.
I don't
She's
think that's
down
Liv.
in L.A. right now with her boyfriend. What the hell is the name of that? I'll get it. But anyway, she's putting together a Tempest. She loves Pontiac. Like she raced a Firebird at that she built down at Duct Tape Drags.
Yeah, it was Liv.
It's
Yep.
Liv,
Yeah.
then, yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't
she's
realize she was
awesome.
from
She
Canada.
builds her own stuff. Her and her boyfriend. They got cool cars.
But I was thinking about you guys whenever I seen that. I was like, oh, well, maybe we could maybe try to get her on there. That'd be all right.
Yeah, I'm friends with her on Facebook. I could get her. I just hadn't. I don't know. I was trying to stay. It is not a woman thing by any means. I'll take any guest that wants to talk Pontiac. But in her case, it was one of those where I was trying to gather and capture the kind of guests that our audience would enjoy. And honestly, she just kind of, I didn't think about her right off. I should have.
Gnarly Speed Shop. What it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
I've got Instagram stuff too, but I had never
watched Liv since, her channel was a lot smaller.
Yeah. You know what? That's the nice thing for me is you get all these young people and a lot of young women that are getting into cars now that I don't know where they were when I was a teenager, but at least they're around now, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see. And then like we got some guys in, like especially you, Buff, you got Hunter and stuff and the young guys into the Pontiacs and stuff like that. And it's great. I love seeing it. I like seeing the young people being interested in the automotive. It brings a little bit of hope that it'll continue on for a while yet.
JB.
JB's here.
Howdy.
Yeah, getting the youth involved is, to me,
It's a big one.
That's where it's at. And with Ray, he just took his car, the Punisher car, to the local Votech to have them align it. Yeah, he could have taken it anywhere, but he took it to the local Votech and said, "Have at it." I mean, if I were working, if I were at school learning about Cavaliers and they don't even make Cavaliers anymore. What the hell they make? Chevy Volts and Priuses and all that garbage. And somebody rolls in with a 700 horsepower black Punisher Le Mans. That just made my whole week.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's awesome. Not only that he did it, but also that all these kids are seeing that and going, look at all this crap we're working on. And then we got this.
Yeah. Well, and it's a good and a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, because I brought an engine to my old high school to get built, and it was a Pontiac. And then I was wondering why it was taking so long. And one of the kids had pounded the piston in without making sure that all the rings were collapsed.
Oh!
So there's a nice big score down the cylinder and everything else. So
it helps oil get high. It's fine.
So it was. So they ended up having to sleeve the cylinder, and they did fix it. But I'm like, I really wish that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
But you're right. It's the unfortunate part is
you taught them problem solving too.
Yeah.
Because they I get it. It sucks, but at the same time, they're like, oh, we have a problem. We're going to fix it.
Yeah.
And still be able to do what we got to do.
And I know when I went to school, there was a lot of vocations in high school. You had the automotives, you had the welding, you had the woodworking, you had all sorts of stuff. And it's a shame that all that stuff seems to have gone away now.
Yeah.
A lot of places,
they took all that stuff out. and it sucks because I mean all the trades are gone out of the high schools, and I don't know if it's just they couldn't get the instructors anymore, if it was too costly, or what the excuse was, but just not enough interest.
My high
But
school campus was huge, and we had all the normal academics, art, and then this whole other section on campus was music and drama. Of course,
yeah,
we had
you
our
had
own
that.
auditorium for
Yeah.
sports, and then across the street from the school, you had the ag building, you
Okay.
had the wood shop,
Yep.
and then that jumps over, and then you had the metal shop, and then the Votech, which was your mechanic shop, not woodworking, but they would do small like shed projects and that kind of thing. It was a massive campus for a small, what I think is a small high school,
Yeah.
because of all the Votech. So you had everything from people out working cattle and sheep to rebuilding carburetors and even doing body work, building kitchen cabinets, and then
Yep.
we had the regular stuff too. So it's
Well,
and I went back to visit, and a lot of that, the buildings are there, but
none of
most
the
of
other
the
stuff.
programs are gone.
Yeah.
And
Well, just to respond to Will here, that's awesome, Will. 25, you're
oh
getting
yeah,
into all this. Now's a great time to just get in there and learn, and don't be afraid to not know it. Right? You don't just
I
make
mean we
mistakes.
we all have the option now that we didn't have before. Is you can look it up. Either look it up on Google, look it up on YouTube. Somebody's either going to do it right or wrong, or just figure it out for yourself. Like, worst case scenario, you screw up and you got to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the worst case scenario.
And
Then
if you video in it, it makes for good content. Just
you
saying.
can, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, kind of like what I just went through.
I
that
like
exactly
to
what
see Bonnie running was. I wanted to see more of Bonnie, but Bonnie running was cool.
I still like him
Bonnie
rebuilding the engine.
announcing that she is in the driveway, that was even better.
Yeah.
Bam!
Yeah.
Oh man. I every time I watch that, I watch it again today just to watch over it because there's a section I need to fix that got real loud real quick. And I tried watching today to make sure I'd find it on here tonight before I go to bed and fix it. But God damn, I laugh so hard at this, especially the second time it happens. I was laughing so hard every time I watch it because it's like my poor dogs.
Yeah.
My dogs thought somebody had ran in the yard with shotguns. I mean, they yiping and carrying on, tried to rip the door off the hinges, trying to get in the house, and it's bad. You're a little gun shy.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Well, and you talk about some of the stuff that happens while you're filming. Like Jay, when you were honing out your cylinders, I laughed pretty dang hard at that when when you sprayed it all down, you went to it just flings everywhere, right? It's like, and the reason I'm laughing is I would do the same damn thing. That's why I'm laughing, right? I've done it. And
well, there's a part in that video you see where I'm just fucking defeated.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there staring at it, and even Zeppelin's like. But honestly, there was nothing I could do. I literally should have not even went that far with it when I was at the other place because I didn't have a radiator. I wasn't going to be able to get a radiator for a week because it's goddamn specific to that car.
And,
I made another one. I got a radiator for it, but it's for another car, and I made it work.
See, that's what I expected out of you, but I understood you were not. I mean, I get it. You weren't where you normally are to have access, and that actually makes a huge difference. It's one thing when I can run over to the side yard and grab one of 10 different parts that are sitting there, and it's another when I'm out there with a basic toolkit and a pair of pliers, and I'm like, okay, this is what we got.
Well, it's not like you made the radio
probably tonight once it gets uploaded.
Not like you made it work like you did with the oil pan either, right?
Right.
Yeah, I got it running, and I got the parts, and I got more parts. I got a bone to pick with Tomco carburetors. They sent me a rebuilt carburetor, right? Which I just wanted to keep it original. I didn't want to buy an Edelbrock or anything like that to put on. I was just going to put the regular old Carter, the original Carter carburetor on it. Well, I put it on there, and when you see it running, the reason it's running like that is because they had it all put together. It fit the car perfect. I put it on, did everything I was supposed to do, started right up, and it ran great. And then all of a sudden it started running like that. I was like, what the hell? Oh, man, I must have brought some extra crap out of the fuel tank or something. I'm going to check that filter. It's got the built-in filter in the carb, kind of like a GM style with the quadrant. There wasn't a filter spring in it.
Oh, man.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to take it all back apart. And O'Reilly's already got a hold of them. And they're sending me a new carburetor.
Nice.
And I said, I'm not tearing this damn thing apart. You get me another one. This is their fault, not mine. And no problem. They send me a new one. I mean, it'd be a lot easier if I just put an Edelbrock on it and be done with it, but I don't want to. I want to keep it as original as possible. I mean, it's all original. That was the original carburetor. And it was, I need to do it on video, but I took the top of it off, like where the accelerator pump, there's no rubber left on it. The needle and seats and the floats are stuck completely shut. They're corroded. Right. There's nothing left of the floats. It's bad. And but yeah, it should run pretty good once I get it doing. I got to adjust the points a little bit, which means rip them out and put an HEI in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, fixed.
Yeah, easy fix, one wire.
Let me adjust the points.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see that too. Not in this video, but the next video. But all it's doing is, like, right now it's friggin' lightning. It was freezing ass cold yesterday, and now it's lightning and raining here. So,
yeah, I looked at the storms. It just missed me, and it is just pummeling you guys.
It got all of me. My yard looks like it's terrible.
It's finally starting to warm up a little bit here. I'm actually kind of glad it's not warming up too fast, because then everything would flood with all the snow we have. But I'm also tired of all the snow and the cold right now. I'm a little tired of it. I want to get out there and work on some stuff. Well, I can't right now, but and I do hear it's supposed to snow again this weekend.
So nice.
Not too much.
It snowed on me the other day. It was 60 and then it snowed.
I was running around Chicago all day today with no coat on. I went to Naperville. I was fine. Went to Island Lake. I was fine. I didn't get. The only reason I wore my coat from the truck to the house is because it was raining like hell. Other than that,
I remember going down to Florida with my buddy one time, and all the locals looking at us like we were nuts, because it's about 15 degrees C, which is probably about, I don't know what that is, probably 60-ish Fahrenheit, somewhere around there, maybe a little cooler. And we've got t-shirts and shorts on. And it's a little breezy and a little windy, but it's pretty fun, right? We're walking around, I see people with neoprene masks on and big down jackets on. I'm like, dude, it's warm out here. What are you doing? They're all looking at us like, what are you doing?
Right, JB.
So good night.
That was for us in Alaska, 60s and 70s. That's our summer.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah.
In the middle of winter, we'd go down to places like California or Florida just to get a little break up in the winter, because we had 30 feet of snow, and it's just nice to be walking in maybe sand instead of snow. And we're running around. The kids are just having a great time. Shorts, flip-flops, tank tops, and people in Florida are like 60 degrees, and like you said, they got the big down parkas on and stocking caps, and they're so cold. I'm like, it's 60 degrees, man.
It's 6 degrees. That was nice summer, dude. What are you doing?
We would shovel our driveway in the winter. If it hit 40 degrees, man, you were outside in a t-shirt and jeans because you'd work up a sweat shoveling.
Yeah.
Will, you're going to need a pump if that's an A model. You're going to have to get a better pump and injectors in that thing. Maybe a turbo upgrade. I don't know. Mine's an E model. So it was all done with, the electronic trucker dude down the street that shouldn't be doing it, but does it.
See, now you're actually talking a completely different language to me. That is the one thing I don't dive into is diesel.
We got a guy in town, a diesel doctor, and he can, if you got an electronic setup like my 3406E, he can turn it up. Mine's 550, 1800 torque. So yeah, she'll pull. Probably the reason I blew her rear end out of it. But it went through hell last year. It ain't giving me no trouble right now. I just bought all new freaking brake system for it, cams and all that crap. I got to get put on. But
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, if you're going to turn up an A model, you're going to have to get a pump, and you can have those pumps turned up on the truck, but it's best if you get them put on a dyno and have them done up. I used to do that. I used to work for Scheid Diesel. I rebuilt injectors and pumps and a lot of that crap.
Well,
Like mine is, it's just a freaking mount. It's just a fuel pump that goes through, and it pumps it through the computer, and your computer regulates it, like how much it's getting.
I'm going to call it a night. I can feel my painkillers wearing off. So
I'm getting there too. I got to get up at 4 o'clock.
I'm going to take one of Brent's pain pills and go to bed.
I need to do that, but I'm just trying to live through the pain.
Yeah, I don't know anything, but I need it for this. So,
yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
My new video comes out tomorrow. You guys got anything coming out?
I've got one coming out tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning sometime for the members.
Yeah, I'll put it out tomorrow.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah,
See you guys.
we're out of here. Thanks for stopping in.